Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the Go Home Show for NXT TakeOver War Games. This is NXT The Game Season 2, Episode 76. Let's waste no time and get straight into the action here tonight on NXT. Tom Phillips, Nigel McGuinness, and Steve Carino welcome us to NXT. Tom Phillips says that tonight on NXT, we're going to have one hell of a show. The camera stands with them for a while as we fade to ringside. And folks, I am very excited to get through this show and get you to NXT TakeOver War Games, because after that, we are on the road to Brooklyn 4, which is basically our SummerSlam. So I'm very, very, very excited. 66 C+. All right, next up in the opening bout, and a match that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat. Sanity defeats Heavy Machinery in 13 minutes when Killian Dane defeats Tucker Knight by pinfall with a double tree. Phillips and Carino were great. This got the crowd hotter. 55 and 54 for Tucker and Otis. Killian Dane and Wolf with a 56 and 58. And these four wrestlers seem like they have pretty decent chemistry. All of them are very brawler-based wrestlers. No skill improvements to comment on, but a 59 seat for Heavy Machinery and Sanity. Of course, Sanity will be taking on none other. Well, we'll get into it, but after the match, Eric Young says Nikki Cross is preparing for her main event, and Eric Young grabs a mic as he stands over them and over the fallen Heavy Machinery. Eric Young says that in 3 days, not only will he be taking on the glorious one Bobby Roode and defeating him, but he will put him out. He will put him out and take him out of his misery. The fans boo as Eric Young looks deranged and crazy as always. Alexander Wolf with a microphone says that at NXT TakeOver War Games, himself and his pal Killian Dane will bring the war to the Revival. The fans boo as Eric Young looks deranged and crazy as always. So we're going to have Eric Young, of course, taking on the glorious one Bobby Roode at NXT TakeOver Rival. And, of course, the Revival will be taking on Sanity. 66 C+, so not too bad. All right, up next, we get a video segment with Titus O'Neil. He'll be in the middle of a contract signing tonight between NXT, House NXT that is, and the Elite. O'Neil was not great. Matt Jackson came off good. Nick Jackson came off good. All 6 men will be in the ring tonight before their big main event match at NXT TakeOver War Games in just 3 days, folks. And I'm very excited. I'm interested to you guys. The build, we've been really pushing this Bucks and DIY storyline forever. Then we added Omega, then we added Sami Zayn. This is easily our best program so far in NXT's history. All right, next up, and about that, a superb wrestling and a decent reaction. Billie Kay and Ruby Riott defeat Ember Moon and Sasha when Billie Kay defeats Ember with the Schoolgirl Crush. So these 4 women will be facing off in a fatal 4-way, of course, and Billie Kay gets the victory. The announcers were great. Sasha with an 84, 79, 77, 84. This was a Diva sex appeal match. Billie Kay is improving in performance skills, 71 C+. After the match, we get the video segment featuring Ember Moon, Sasha Banks, Billie Kay, and Ruby Riott. They'll be facing one another in a fatal 4-way match at NXT TakeOver War Games in just a few days. Secondary championship for the Women's Championship. The name is still pending. So yes, they will be facing off for the secondary championship, which I will have a name for, I promise, on the next event. 64C between these 4 ladies. Next up, in a decent match, TJP gets revenge this time after what happened at the Mega 12 Juniors yesterday and defeats Ani Lorcan in 980 and 918 by pinfall with a jumping neckbreaker. TJP with a 62, Ani Lorcan with a 48. No skill improvements, 57C minus. Oni Lorcan, though he got the first victory he had in the tournament at the Mega 12 Juniors Tournament Day 6, TJP gets the victory on NXT TV. Next up, we're reminded that just in a few days, we're getting to see TJ Perkins take on Roddy Strong for the NXT Junior Heavyweight Championship at TakeOver War Games. So this match should be great. 73 B-. I am looking forward to this one, guys. Alrighty, coming up next at a special attraction, Andrade Cien almost defeats Jushin Thunder Liger in 9 minutes with a split-legged corkscrew senton going all tranquilo. Liger was tired, they did not click, but it did get the crowd buzzing, a 63 and a 41. 57C-. Pretty disappointed, actually. After defeating Jushin Thunder Liger, Andrade Cien Almas, who is still one of our most over workers, is screaming that it's insane he isn't booked for the NXT TakeOver War Games match. Or actually the pay-per-view itself. He screams that not only should he be booked for the NXT TakeOver War Games, but he should be main eventing. Almas taunts and stands over Liger, a legend, as he puts his arms up, fading away from ringside, all tranquilo. And his brother Macias, of course, was with him, 88B+. Alright, next up we see Bayley and Nikki Cross getting ready because they're going to meet in the main event soon. But first, we're going to get to that big segment. We come back to Titus O'Neil standing in the ring as he's welcoming the Elite. Titus O'Neil says that this War Games match is the biggest match in NXT history. So, O'Neil, who was awful, was great this time. It's got the crowd hotter, and the Elite storyline has advanced with an 88B+. Next up, Titus looks across the ring at the Elite standing, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and says it's time to meet the other half of the main event, House NXT. So DIY, Gargano and Ciampa come to the ring with Sami Zayn. We're in the ring now as Titus introduces House NXT. Kenny Omega grabs the microphone and pushes Titus O'Neil aside. The camera zooming in shows both contracts have been signed already. Kenny Omega says that when he debuted at NXT TakeOver Legacy, it was one of the proudest moments of his life. He was here again with his boys, finally in WWE/NXT, and they again were going to rule the wrestling world. Then, says Omega, pausing, looking at Sami Zayn, this red-headed piece of shit, this overrated as hell Sami Zayn showed up at NXT TakeOver Rival and stole my thunder. Stole our thunder. The Young Bucks look angry as House NXT is now smirking. Sami Zayn, who's grabbed a microphone now, gets cheers as he's lifting the microphone up to his mouth as Kenny tries to cut him off, but Sami pushes right past Kenny Omega. So he was awful here. Titus O'Neil, Sami, and Omega were great. Better announcing, but the Young Bucks again perform well. A 93A. Fantastic. Sami Zayn looks around as the fans are chanting House NXT, House NXT, House NXT. Sami says that while he just couldn't wait a few days to get the party started, why wait? Sami Zayn throws the microphone at Kenny Omega and tackles him to the ground. The Bucks and DIY following suit as the main event for NXT TakeOver War Games are fighting all over the ring. Tom Phillips says it's mayhem here. It's mayhem. House NXT and the Elite are brawling out of the ring into the crowd, up the ramp, and hitting spots after spots because in just 3 days, folks, they're locked inside a War Games cage. There will be no riding. There will be no way to get out. In 3 days, House NXT and the Elite go to war. All right, so O'Neil was 2 for 2. Did good off script. Did bad off script. Ciampa is getting a stale gimmick. Zayn is improvising well. Omega did a masterful job. The announcing was weak. The announcing was better. And the Young Bucks were great, as always. The Young Bucks are showing charisma and acting, so that's great. 88B+. We're reminded that Sanity will be taking on the Revival at NXT TakeOver War Games, and we are reminded as well that Mr. NXT and Mrs. NXT will be at ringside as Mr. NXT will be defending the NXT Heavyweight Championship against Brodus Clay of the El Ring Alliance at NXT TakeOver War Games, and it doesn't look good for Mr. NXT. The heel versus heel matchup, the El Ring Alliance will be behind the side of Brodus Clay, obviously, and Mr. NXT will have Mrs. NXT by his side, but it's going to be the co-main event at NXT TakeOver War Games, 91A. And in the main event, Bayley defeats Nikki Cross in 1811 with the Rhodes Plant. Bayley makes defense number 3 of her NXT Women's Championship, and I put this for 18 minutes. I wanted to see, I know the match wasn't going to be super highly rated, but it got to 62 C rating, 18 minutes with women. I will take that all day long. No skill improvements. Bayley with a 58, Cross with a 53, but I love it. A 62C between Bayley and Nikki Cross, main eventing the Go Home Show. After having defeated Nikki Cross, Bayley has just retained the NXT Women's Championship, and in just 3 days will be at NXT TakeOver for War Games, folks, where House NXT takes on the Elite. All right, a 76B. Obviously, my last 2 segments killed my show rating a little bit, but that's okay. 76B minus a 45. That is absolutely great. I am very thrilled with that one. So this was NXT The Game Season 2, Episode 76, NXT TV. And next time you hear this glorious voice, it will be at NXT TakeOver War Games, where, as I mentioned, House NXT, DIY and Sami Zayn will take on the Elite, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega in the main event, locked inside the War Games cage. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow, and have a glorious day.